Because I wanted to tell you in person that you're fired, Marks. I wanted everyone still alive that's a part of my administration to hear it, and I wanted to look at you as I said it. You're fucking fired, and I want you out of my bunker. Whatever you brought down here, including your $2,000 suit, needs to get the fuck out within the hour. If you're here a minute after that hour is over, I'm going to have you killed. The thoughts in Knox's head screeched to a halt like a speeding train at 100 miles per hour, sparks flying from the tracks beneath. The president said he would murder Marks if he stayed a minute past the timeline Haley laid out. Any questions? The president said. Kenneth Marks heard the president. Indeed, he was as fully engaged as he had ever been with this president. He remained leaning back in his chair as the president told him that his services were no longer needed. Kenneth Marks hadn't seen any of this coming. His plan didn't include the alien creating a traveling volcano. He hadn't foreseen the White House turning into a smoldering ruin, something that would be remembered in textbooks and photos, if textbooks and photos existed when this was all done. No, all of these things had escaped Kenneth Marks' purview, and now the president wanted him to leave? To simply take the elevator back up to the surface and then walk out into the new America? He knew the president wanted some kind of answer, but Kenneth Marks wasn't ready to give one yet. He missed what the alien had done, perhaps the first large miss in his life. The world above had radically changed over a few hours. Now Kenneth Marks needed to determine his next move. He decided that this wasn't really all that bad. Kenneth Marks saw into the future, and he saw a path that might lead him to something more powerful than anything else he had imagined. The path was risky, without a doubt, something he wouldn't have seriously considered until this moment. The path lay out before him, as if lit by light stemming from the heavens. Perhaps he had been waiting on this the entire time. No longer would he have to bide time or wait under the president's thumb. This path, if it worked, would lead him to total control over both this government and the alien herself. Kenneth Marks tilted his head slightly to the left as he studied the president. Yes, it could work. And if it didn't? That was the rub. "Are you listening to me?" the president said. No, he wasn't anymore. If this failed, he lost the opportunity to ascend. Everything he hoped to accomplish with the alien would fade away, like so many other dreams humanity thought up. The risk was huge, but so was the reward. Kenneth Marks made his decision. He would have everything or nothing, but he wouldn't live with this in-between world any longer, having others dictate his actions. He stood up from his chair and reached to each of his shirt cuffs, pulling them slightly out from underneath his jacket. He studied them briefly before looking back up at the president. "Yes, sir, I heard you perfectly," he said. He stepped out from the table, pushing the chair in, where he then stood with his hands on its back. "Is there anything you'd like me to do before I leave?" The president looked over to General Knox. "Is there anything you need from him?" Knox shook his head, which is exactly what Kenneth Marks thought he would do. None of them saw it. Not yet. That's why what came next would work, because when they saw it, they would have no choice but to give him the keys to the kingdom. "Then we're good. Within the hour, Marks. Get out of here." Kenneth Marks nodded and let the smirk he had hid finally glide onto his face. He stepped around the small table, moving past another general and some other bureaucrat he didn't care to know. "Mr. President, it was an honor serving under you." He took another step closer and extended his hand. Haley looked at his fingers like they were diseased, as if Kenneth Marks' fingers even touched the air Haley breathed would infect him. He brought his eyes back up to Kenneth Marks' face. "Get the fuck out of here." The smirk grew, changing to a full-blown smile, one that would light up a room if anyone besides Kenneth Marks wore it. His hands shot out like a snake leaping on a mouse. Will would have been able to keep up, to see the actual movement, but everyone in this room was too surprised. Both hands moved at one time, the left snatching onto the back of the president's head and the other grabbing the bottom of his jaw. With a single jerk, he felt the bones inside Haley's neck snapping, both small and large, as he stretched them further than they were ever meant to go. Kenneth Marks didn't let go immediately, though. Instead, he pulled even harder on the president's head, making sure that no amount of emergency medical help would save him. Haley let out a small grunt, the last sound the man ever made. Kenneth Marks enjoyed the feeling of bones snapping, the tiny